Welcome to the Miami International Boat Show 2024. Today we are in the convention center at the seaVee booth and we are checking out their brand new 40-foot center console. Guys, this is the ultimate fishing center console right here, the new seaVee 40-foot. What is going on, guys? Ryan from Livin here. Today we are doing a walkthrough of this beautiful boat, and of course, as always, we are going to start with the bow of the boat. So starting up in the bow of the boat, we are going to have our anchor locker that has our windlass hidden away in there so it stays out of the elements, which is very convenient. So as I said, this is the ultimate fishing boat because of how much room you simply get up here in the bow. Look at the amount of room you guys have up here for fishing. There's tons and tons of room to walk around, along with some nice amenities for seating options, like you can see right over here. Now these backrests of these upholstery are actually going to be controlled by a switch that is going to be right over here. So you can see, we'll press that button and it's going to be electronically controlled to bring up this backrest. That's all the way up, and then you can have your guest having a nice forward seating situation here so that way they can see all the waves coming, have a very nice time. This is a very comfortable seating option without getting in the way of all your fishing area. Now underneath our seating options up here in the front, we're going to have some side hatches on both sides, which are going to be primarily just for storage, and they are nice size hatches for any bumpers, lines, any of that kind of stuff you want to throw in here. Now underneath our side gunnels up here in the front, we're going to have both on the port and starboard side, very conveniently, a little hose tucked away in here. So you're gonna have a washdown. I'm assuming this is gonna be fresh water. It doesn't say, so it's either fresh or saltwater washdown, but you have hoses on port and starboard side right over here as well. And right next to our forward seat options over here, we're also going to have a little bit of more storage tucked away over here. Now this floor hatch right here, this one is gonna be a fish box, and it might be one of the biggest I've ever seen on a boat. Look at the size of this hatch. I mean, that is absolutely insane how big this hatch is. I mean, you could fully lay down in here. There's room for a couple. I mean, that means you could fit at least a couple swordfish in here if you want. I guess seeing yourself, he's gonna tuck me away. You get the point. This is absolutely massive. I almost hit my head on it still, but like I said, you don't have to worry about running out of room for fish. You can fit big yellowfin tunas in there. You can fit swordfish in there, anything long, skinny, wahoo, kingfish, perfect. Ice it down, long trips. You might be thinking, like, what do you need a fish box honestly that big for? Long trips to the Bahamas and stuff like that these guys make from Florida, you want to be loaded down with hundreds of pounds of ice. And when you're there for like a week, you're going to be catching a lot of fish, and you're not always going to be filleting up those fish. So a box this big is actually really perfect for that. So on the floor over here, you're going to have 1, 2, and 3 more fish boxes or storage, however you like to use it. And you guys can see I'm currently sitting on the forward-facing seating, which looks like it is made for 3 people comfortably. You got a couple cup holders on the side, and let me tell you guys something really cool about this boat is their cabin feature. So on the side over here, we're gonna have a little switch. It might be a little bit overkill, but it is really cool. You flip the switch and the cabin door slides open. So you might be able to recognize a lot of these boats that I've done walkthrough videos of. If they have the cabin access like this, usually it's a door that kind of flips open like that. Kind of gets a little inconvenient because then it blocks the guest from being able to like walk around. This way, it just slides on over, very convenient. So we're gonna hop on in here real quick. Show you guys around. So you can see I'm 5'10". I could stand up here with ease. There's a little bit of room above my head in here. I mean, it's your basic cabin here on a fishing center console. You get your head, you have room for your head, and it gets the job done. Now with a hardcore fishing boat like seaVee makes, you're gonna want lots of rod holders so you have lots of storage for all your rods when you're going out. So you can come along, walk the side gunnel here of this ginormous 40-foot fishing center console. You can see rod holders here on the gunnels, tons of rod holders along the console over here. Guys, there is plenty of rod holder storage on this boat for you guys. Now we're at the helm station here of the 40-foot seaVee. One of my favorite places to be because, frankly, I love driving the boat. Your Salty doesn't like driving the boat anymore, or at least he doesn't get a chance to. But you can see, I mean, they did a magnificent job. This almost looks like a car, like you're sitting in a car because of the way that they moved all these electronics out forward and kind of made it a little bit of a curved dash. It's really cool, but you're gonna have your JL audio radio control over here. We're gonna have a Mercury display so you can see what those triple Mercuries in the back are doing. We have a little Garmin, looks like might be an autopilot setup over here. Ginormous screens. I don't even know what size screens these are gonna be, but they are huge. They're like flat screen TVs. We're gonna have a little phone holder. It's gonna have charging. And then we have just an overall beautiful helm station over here. Now on a lot of seaVee boats, actually they put a polycarbonate windshield instead of a glass windshield. So it's a lot more cost effective, does just as good of a job, easy to replace if you need to. Overall, a very nice feature to have on this boat. The upholstery quality here on the seaVee is very, very nice. And you can see we have a triple captain seat setup over here. Very nicely padded. They kind of added a little extra padding in the back, maybe in case you sit down and whack your elbow behind it or something. You're not just hitting some fiberglass, you're hitting a nice little padding. But you can see it's nicely slanted and curved for your body. So if you are standing up and driving, it's very comfortable to stand here. And of course, if you'd like to sit down, you can fold that down, hop on up. You got room for two of your friends, two of your closest buddies to sit next to you. Fold down some art seats, and overall you have a very comfortable riding experience. Now towards the stern of the boat over here, we're gonna have our rear view facing seating. Now this is gonna be great seating for your guests when we're at the sandbar. You're kind of anchored up, sandbar's behind us. You can watch the kids, whatever you guys are doing. It's also really good if you guys are trolling, because it's really important to be watching those trolling rods at all time. Captain's at the helm, making sure he's not gonna hit another boat. Then you have your other mates on the boat watching the rods to make sure they're not going off, or make sure they are going off with some big fish on. So this rear facing seating is really nice for that. Now, of course, underneath it, we're gonna have a little bit of storage, which could be optimal. I'd probably put our fish sandwiches, not fish sandwiches. I'd probably put our sandwiches, our water bottles, and any of that kind of stuff underneath. And then right above it, we're gonna have a little tackle station. You can see it's kind of nicely padded, kind of throwing your most used stuff, maybe some trolling lures you're using at the time, sinkers, weights, extra line, leaders, all that kind of stuff can be thrown into the little tackle station over here. So we're gonna check out a couple of the floor hatches here in the stern. The first big one over here is gonna be our Seakeeper 3 system here. Keep us nice and steady from rocking around when we are out on the water. Now if we look on the starboard side over here, we're gonna have our second floor hatch, which is gonna be identical to the port side of the boat. This is just gonna be another fish hatch over here. Plenty of room for you to store all of your fish, ice, and any other dry stuff you like. One neat little thing they did was just throw a little tape measure in here, just so when you're throwing that mahi in the box, you want to just double check him right before he goes on ice to make sure he's the right size. And one of the really neat new features they threw in the stern deck over here is going to be a rear anchor. So a lot of times when you're at a sandbar or something like that, to get the boat positioned right, you're going to have a rear anchor. So instead of storing that rear anchor in one of the wells somewhere, they actually just put it right here in the floor for you, so you don't have to be dragging an anchor around the boat. So very neat little feature that seaVee thought of to add to this brand new 40-foot center console. So of course we are going to have our forward-facing rear seating over here that honestly, if you're putting Livin Salties on here, you could fit probably 5 more of me back here, but it probably holds about 5 people total, I would say. Very comfortable, got a little removable backrest here. And it is gonna fold down so that you can make more room for your fishery needs and so you can access your hatches back here. So one thing they added on this 40-foot seaVee, which is really neat, is the way that they put their live wells. So when you start to get onto some of these bigger boats, and even some of their 26, 25-foot center consoles, a lot of times they'll put the live wells across the stern over here. And that's great and all, it makes for some really big live wells. But the problem is when you're standing, let's say this is gonna be how far out the live well is gonna come. When you have a fish on, you have to get around these ginormous Mercury motors. It's kind of hard to get around it. You have to kind of jump out of the boat to kind of get it around. So they actually put both of the live wells here on the port and starboard side of the boat, which is very nicely rounded, aquarium style, very nice live wells. They put them on the sides of the boat. That way you get even closer to the motors when you're fishing. That way you can get your rod tips around the motors with ease. Very nice feature. Something like that when seaVee does, It's really just thinking about the angler and thinking about what's best for them. And big kudos to seaVee for coming up with a feature like this. Now this huge 40-foot fishing center console is going to be powered by triple Mercury V10 engines. Guys, this is going to take you to your fishing spots fast, loud, efficient, reliable, and will get you there and back safely. These motors are absolute beast for this 40-foot center console. Now this boat, as it sits, they don't have an exact information sheet for it yet, but they told me it's gonna be around $950,000 as it sits. Guys, I know that's a lot of money, but seaVee is one of the top tier boat builders. Honestly, one of my favorite boat manufacturers. And they make really beautiful boats, really high quality, good fishing center consoles. So $950,000, pretty much around that for the boat you guys are seeing here today. That's gonna wrap it up here for the walkthrough of this beautiful 40-foot seaVee Z. Guys, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and definitely consider subscribing down below. If you do get a chance to see this beautiful boat in person, maybe at a boat show in the future near you guys, or maybe if this is out in time, make sure you guys come check out this boat. There's a lot of stuff I actually didn't even get to cover with this, so make sure you guys go check them out. Thank you again so much for watching. If you like this kind of video, make sure you guys check out this video over here on the left side of the screen. And until the next video, remember to keep living salty.